Phyllis dumps Kane. I know the truth. Lily's 5 words make Phyllis break up with Kane. The young and the restless was really heating up in Genoa City. Things were getting out of hand. On this episode of The Young and the Restless, people's feelings were over the place. It was crazy. Phyllis Summers is usually the one who keeps things to herself. This time Phyllis Summers was completely caught off guard. Something big. It really upset Phyllis Summers. She had to face the man she thought she could really trust, which is Kane Ashby. It all started that morning at Newman Enterprises. The halls were busy with people talking and looking at each other in a way that made you wonder what was going on. Kane was being his charming self, but he was working really hard to keep everything together. He had to deal with a lot of business stuff and also make sure his personal life seemed okay. Deep down, things were not going well for Kane. There were problems that he was trying to hide. Phyllis could tell that something was wrong. She had been through a lot in her life. That had taught her to trust her instincts. She knew how to spot when people were not telling the truth. Now she thought that Kane was hiding something. Newman Enterprises was a place where people did not always say what they meant. Kane and Phyllis were both very good at pretending everything was fine. It was not. The thing that really got everything stirred up was not something Kane did, but it was also because he had a big argument with Lily Winters. She said some things that really made people think. Lily Winters has a way of looking at things that gets right to the point. She knows how to say things that make you stop and think about what's really going on with Kane and Lily Winters. Lily said something that really hurt Phyllis. She said, "I know the truth, Phyllis." This made Phyllis think about all the things Kane had done. She thought about the times Kane lied to her and the things he did not tell her. All these bad memories came back to her mind quickly. It was like a wave that she could not stop. Phyllis had thought that Kane was a person and that she could trust him. Now she was not so sure about Kane. The weight of those words was really getting to Phyllis. She felt heartbroken. At the same time, she was determined. In that moment, Phyllis knew she could not ignore the signs anymore. She had been avoiding the truth for a long time. Kane knew something was wrong. He tried to talk to Phyllis to explain things to make her understand. Every word he said just did not work. Phyllis was feeling a lot of emotions like a storm, and nothing Kane said could calm her down. The words of Kane just fell flat. Phyllis was still feeling the weight of those words. I remember the times, the secret moments we shared, the quiet promises we made to each other, and the soft kisses. Now these memories are ruined by doubt. The man I thought I could trust, the man who was my place, is the one who has hurt me the most. Memories of him are now memories of betrayal. The man I loved is the one who betrayed me. Phyllis thought about everything that had happened over the few weeks. She remembered how Kane had been acting secretive all of a sudden. He would not give her answers to her questions. He would even hesitate when she asked him something. Now that Lily had said what she said, Phyllis couldn't think that Kane was hiding something big. It was not something he had done wrong by mistake. It was something he had done on purpose to deceive her. When Phyllis talked to Kane about it, the conversation was very honest and emotional. It was also very upsetting for both of them. Kane had been hiding something. Phyllis was very hurt by this. The fact that Kane had been hiding something was now very clear to Phyllis. Phyllis looked at Kane with tears in her eyes. She spoke clearly. She told Kane everything she knew. It was a lot to take in. The truth. It made her feel frustrated. Phyllis did not yell at Kane. She did not get angry with him. She just told him what happened. The truth was painful. It made things uncomfortable between them. It made it hard to pretend like everything was okay. Kane usually knew how to handle situations. He was charming. He stayed calm. This time he was stuck. The truth about Phyllis. What she learned put Kane in a tough spot. He did not know what to do. Kane was not used to feeling this way. He was used to being in control. Now he felt trapped by the truth that Phyllis told him. The man could not find the words to say, and his excuses did not sound good anymore. The confident face he showed to everyone was not there when he was alone with Phyllis. She was a person who knew what she wanted. She wanted to be treated with respect. Phyllis did not want to get hurt, so she told him how she really felt. She said the words that would affect their relationship in a way. Phyllis was done with him. The declaration just hung there. It felt really final. For a moment nobody said a word. It was so quiet that you could feel the silence everywhere in the room. It was like the silence was shouting back at us, reminding us of the pain of a love and the fact that we have to face the music. Cain did not know what to say. He was shocked and hurt. He also felt a little bad about what he had done. Deep down he knew that this was what he deserved. He had kept secrets from everyone and now the truth was out. The secrets he had tried to hide were finally out, in the open. The declaration was the result of Cain's secrets and lies. Now he had to deal with the consequences of his actions, the consequences of what Cain had done. Outside the world of Genoa City just kept on going. When Phyllis walked away from that private conversation, it felt like time stood still. Phyllis was determined about what she wanted to do, and with each step she was closing one door and maybe opening another. She was not really sure what was coming next. The Genoa City people were going to feel the effects of Phyllis breaking up with her partner. It was going to affect the relationships between the Newman family and the Abbott family. People were going to take sides, and secrets that people had been keeping hidden for a time were going to come out, which would probably cause even more problems for the Newman family and the Abbott family. After what happened, Phyllis' friends were really there for her. They tried to make her feel better and see things in a way. On the hand, Cain had to deal with what he did. He had to face the fact that trust's a big deal. When you break trust, it is very hard to get it back. Trust is something that Phyllis and Cain had. Now it is broken. This ending was not an one. The people in Genoa City have a lot of feelings for each other. There is love and loyalty and also betrayal. All these things are mixed together. Even when people break up, it is not really over. There is always a chance that they will get back together or that someone will try to get revenge. This can change everything in Genoa City. The people and their feelings are always connected. Genoa City is a place where love and loyalty and betrayal are always affecting each other. As the credits rolled on this intense episode, fans were left on the edge of their seats, hearts racing and minds swirling with anticipation for the next shocking revelation, knowing that in The Young and the Restless, no love is safe, no secret remains hidden forever, and the truth, once revealed, can change everything in an instant. After Phyllis walked away, Cain was left standing in the living room. The decision she made was still in the air. It was like the smoke that comes from a fire. This fire had destroyed everything that was familiar to Cain. Cain's mind was racing. He was thinking about what happened. He did not want to believe it. He was angry. He felt desperate. Cain always thought he could talk his way out of any problem. He could do this at work at Chancellor Winter's. He could do this with the women he loved. Now nothing he said seemed good enough. Cain was used to being able to fix things with his words. This time he did not know what to say. The decision Phyllis made was still on his mind. The words "I am done" kept echoing in his ears like a decision he could not get away from. Cain's fingers tapped on the edge of the glass table, a habit that showed he was nervous. He usually seemed calm, but not now. He thought about the way Phyllis looked at him. She was hurt, she was determined, and there was something in her eyes, something strong. She was independent now. Nothing he said could change that. This thought hurt him more than anything he had ever experienced before. Cain thought about the words "I am done" again and how they affected him. The look in Phyllis' eyes was still on his mind. He knew he could not ignore it. Phyllis was walking through the corridors of Genoa City. It felt really weird. This city used to be a place where people went to make something of themselves. Now it just felt like the place where something bad happened to her. She kept thinking about what Lily said to her. Lily said, "I know the truth, Phyllis." Those words from Lily kept playing over and over in her head. The words "I know the truth, Phyllis" were not simple words. They meant something. Phyllis could not just forget what Lily said to her. The words "I know the truth, Phyllis" were really getting to her. She remembered all the lies Cain had told her. There were times when he just disappeared and did not tell her where he was going. He gave her answers that did not make sense now. She had ignored the things that did not add up because she loved him. Every little thing she thought about now seemed like a part of a picture she did not want to see. Cain had lied to her. That was not the only problem. He had broken her trust. Crossed the line. He had betrayed her in a bad way. Cain was her partner. She thought she knew him very well. Now she was not so sure. The things he did were very hurtful. Cain's lies and deception had hurt her a lot. Phyllis did not go home. She found herself walking to Crimson Lights. This is the cafe where she likes to think when things are crazy. She sat down in a corner booth, held her coffee tightly. The smell of coffee and the soft music playing in the background made her feel a little better. Her mind was not calm at all. Crimson Lights is a place that helps her think clearly. Phyllis likes to go when she needs to figure things out. She sat there with her coffee trying to make sense of everything. Crimson Lights is like a place for her. She thought about Kane and how he used to smile at her. He seemed sincere when he was being vulnerable. Now she sees the truth and it is harsh. It makes her sad to think about it. She wonders if Kane was ever really the man she thought she loved. Was she fooled by the person he wanted her to think he was? She thinks about this. It makes her feel sad. She loved Kane. Now she is not so sure. Across town, Kane looked for help in his way. He called Victoria Newman first because he knew Victoria Newman was very smart and might be able to help him figure things out or at least help him save face. Victoria Newman, I made a mistake, Kane said when Victoria Newman answered, his voice sounding really upset. She left me, Victoria Newman. I do not know how to make things right with her. Victoria Newman sounded strong, also kind when she spoke to Kane. She told Kane that sometimes talking does not fix things that are broken. What you do is more important than what you say. If Kane wants her back, he needs to show that he is someone she can trust. He has to be trustworthy, not just say that he is. Kane nodded, even though Vic could not see him. He knew that she was right. Being charming and explaining things and saying sorry would not be enough. Kane would have to make some changes. Kane knows that he needs to change if he wants to prove to her that he is trustworthy. The question was still on his mind. Could he fix the problems he had already caused with Phyllis, or was this the start of the end of his relationship with Phyllis? He thought about his relationship with Phyllis and what he could do to make things right with Phyllis. Back at Crimson Lights, Phyllis' phone kept ringing and buzzing with messages from her friends, her colleagues, and even Lily, who was checking in on her. She did not answer any of these messages because she wanted to be alone with her thoughts. Phyllis needed some time to think about how she was feeling. She thought about love and how it can sometimes hurt us. Kane was the man she loved. She thought he was perfect for her. Now she knows the truth and it hurts. This made Phyllis think about people and how they can be dishonest. She was thinking about trust and how hard it is to trust someone. Phyllis was also thinking about herself and what she wants from love. She felt strong and weak at the time. She felt strong because she made a choice that helped her keep her dignity. She also felt weak because a part of her still wanted the comfort of knowing what to expect. She missed the closeness that Kane had once given her. Kane had made her feel safe and loved. Now she was not so sure about things. She had made a decision about Kane. It was hard for her to deal with it. The thought of Kane still made her feel something. The news of the breakup started to spread fast through Genoa City. People who knew them were talking about it. Some were picking sides. Others were trying to be nice and offer some comfort. Jack Abbott is really good at noticing things. He raised an eyebrow when he heard what happened. He said to Ashley, Kane and Phyllis are breaking up? That is news. He shook his head. Said, I always thought Kane and Phyllis would work things out, but I guess some problems are just too big. Ashley listened to what Jack Abbott said. She nodded slowly because she is always very thoughtful. The truth is something you just can't avoid sometimes. Phyllis had to know the reality of her relationship. She cannot live in a lie. In these conversations, the city is like a big picture with lots of lives all connected to each other. This shows how one person finding out something about themselves can affect many other people. Kane was really struggling with his feelings. He walked around the halls of Chancellor Winters thinking about everything that had happened. He kept thinking about the times he spent with Phyllis, going over what she said and did. He wondered if he really cared about her or just liked the feeling of being with someone. He thought about whether he could have been more honest with her in a way. He wished he could have done something to stop her from being hurt. The fact that he had hurt Phyllis and she did not trust him anymore made him feel like a failure. Kane knew it would be very hard to get Phyllis to trust him again. He thought about Phyllis and what he had done to her. This made him feel even worse about himself and what had happened with Phyllis. In the world of Genoa City, love and Genoa City relationships are really tricky. Love and betrayal in Genoa City go hand in hand. They are connected in a way that's very hard to understand. If someone makes one move in Genoa City, it can ruin everything that people in Genoa City care about. Love in Genoa City is like a balancing act where people in Genoa City have to be very careful not to fall. As the evening came, Phyllis went back to her apartment. She wanted to be alone. She got herself a glass of wine. Her mind was thinking about times and the hard truth about what was happening now. What Cain did was not just hurtful to her. It made her think about herself. She thought about why she made choices. She wondered if she could really forgive people. She asked herself if she could love someone again. Even with all the sadness, Phyllis felt a little bit stronger inside. She felt a bit more determined. The pain of Cain's betrayal was still there. Phyllis was thinking about Cain's betrayal and how it was affecting her. She was thinking about how Cain's betrayal made her feel about herself and her life. Phyllis knew that endings can be very hard. They usually help her to grow and become more independent. This means that Phyllis will start a part of her life. Phyllis will learn to do things on her own. Phyllis will become a stronger person. Phyllis will have a chapter of her life, and this is what Phyllis is looking forward to. Cain was up all night thinking. He could not sleep because he was thinking about Phyllis. He thought about all the times they had together. They had mornings and they laughed a lot. They had moments that felt nice. Now these memories feel bad because he knows she was not honest with him. The truth is that love is not enough when people do not trust each other. Cain knows that if he and Phyllis want to work things out, it will not be easy. They will have to do more than just say sorry to each other. Cain and Phyllis will have to be patient and honest with each other. They will have to change the way they're together. The day people in Genoa City were talking about what happened at Newman Enterprises, everyone was whispering about Phyllis and Cain breaking up. This news was like a cloud that affected a lot of people, including Victoria and Nikki and also Lily and Nick. Each person thought about the news in their way. They thought about their relationships and who they work with. They thought about what they want to do. When Phyllis and Cain broke up, it was not about them. It was about how it would affect the people around them. It could change the way people do business and how families get along. It could even change who people fall in love with next. Phyllis and Cain breaking up was a deal because it could change a lot of things in Genoa City. Phyllis had a time figuring out who she was after everything that happened. She talked to her friends. They helped her feel better. They listened to her, gave her good advice. Talking to Sharon and Abby made Phyllis remember that she was strong and could handle things. They helped her see that the breakup was not a thing but a chance to start fresh. Lily, who had started everything, called her a lot to make sure she was okay. She was careful not to push Phyllis into talking about things she did not want to talk about. That made Phyllis feel like she was in control of her own life, like Phyllis was making her own decisions again. Cain tried to make things right. It was not easy. He had a lot of problems to deal with. Phyllis was still trying to figure out how she felt about Cain. She was very clear about what she would and would not accept from him. Anytime Cain said sorry, Phyllis thought about it a lot to see if he really meant it. She knew that if you love someone but do not trust them, it does not mean much. Cain had a hard road ahead of him to prove himself to Phyllis. Sometimes when it was really quiet, she would think about how complicated human relationships are. Human relationships are very complicated. She thought about the things that can happen when people love each other, like when they hurt each other on purpose. She also thought about how strong you have to be to deal with all the things that happen in a city, like Genoa City. Genoa City is a tough place to live. Days turned into weeks. The pain of Phyllis and Cain being apart was still there. Phyllis and Cain started to get used to their new lives. Phyllis tried things outside of her relationship with Cain. She put a lot of time into her job, spent time with her friends. Phyllis also tried to learn more about herself. Cain had to deal with the things that happened because of what he did. He thought about how bad his mistakes were and how hard it would be to make things right with Phyllis. Cain had to think about if he could ever fix his relationship with Phyllis, or if some relationships are just too broken to be fixed. Through it all, the city watched, whispered, and waited. The young and the restless thrived on the tension between love, betrayal, and redemption. Phyllis and Cain's story was a vivid example of the emotional stakes in Genoa City, where every secret had a price, Every revelation shifted the balance, and every heartache promised more drama just around the corner.